Welcome back, strangers. Tonight we have Crypto Smash on here, talking about the strangest ways to make money. Gotta get my outline pulled up. Blake's power is out, so he can't join us right now. We still have a hurricane going on. Originally, I was supposed to go camping with Soggy Seal and Father Michael, but that got canceled because of the hurricane. So now Blake isn't with us because of the hurricane. So give us a few minutes. All right. So hope everyone's safe with Hurricane Florence. Originally, it was supposed to hit Southern Virginia directly. We were going to get like 34 inches of rain, but it moved south, so it's over the Carolinas. So if you're in the Carolinas or just in the path of the storm, stay safe and stay serious about it because it's still a really bad storm and it's supposed to cause lots of flooding. So, in case you're new, we are the strangest paranormal and unsolved mysteries channel that travels around to haunted places to make video for you guys, for your viewing pleasure. And I help write, edit, and do the shaky camera work, come up with the outline for this stream. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm really excited to do this. It's actually based on a conversation me and Crypto had at lunch one day. So I'm going to recreate it, try to be exciting and interesting and strange for you guys. It's a little different. So Crypto Smash. You're gonna tell us the strangest ways to make money, how to become a millennial millionaire, hopefully, all through the wisdom of a pug trading like a thug, according to your bio. Is that the introduction you give everyone, or how do you describe yourself and channel?
I mean, basically, I describe myself as just someone who knows how to make money in lots of different ways. And I love trading crypto. And that's that's what this YouTube channel is about. My Crypto Smash channel is all about trading crypto and what I'm looking at and what I'm looking to invest in and the reasons why. And so I like to look up projects that are unique to me and I think I can make some money on. So
what came first, crypto or all your other side hustles? Like, what all do you have going on? What are your different income streams?
Yeah, crypto came last, actually. I really started getting into side hustles in college. I learned how to do eBay actually after high school. I worked at a dealership, and my dad gave me the job of taking pictures of old car manuals. And I figured out that they make a lot of money on eBay. So I started flipping items on eBay. Then I went to just finding different things I can sell on eBay and Amazon. And then I got into buying expensive clothing like Supreme and Yeezys and just different rare clothings that would flip for a good price, as well as just having different jobs that I have. I have a work at a university, and I'm also a pastor at a church. And then I do eBay, which is my main source of income, along with crypto trading.
Yeah. So is that all your inventory behind you? So we should know where you live so we can go rob it.
Some of my inventory behind me. I mean, there's just boxes to the ceiling. And so that's how I guess I keep track of stuff. I mean, yeah. So,
yeah. So, like, you're not a financial advisor, and we're supposed to do our own research and invest properly. But what's your favorite way to make money? Is it through crypto or through selling on eBay? Well, what gets you really the most excited when you wake up in the morning?
I would say the most exciting way to make money for me is I like running bots to get clothing items, and that's really fun to me. So if Supreme has a box logo hoodie coming out, I'll buy my whatever I need to buy to get that box logo hoodie. So I have different bots that I run to get that. So in my opinion, that would probably be the most exciting way. I would say the most sustainable and best way to make money is through eBay. I get items at a good rate, and I'm able to flip them well. And once you get started on eBay and you're able to get enough of a certain item, it's just easy to upload and restock, and just a more consistent way to do it. So yeah, that's my favorite way. I mean, it's hard to sell stuff on eBay, in my opinion. The worst part is getting the pictures up, but after you get the pictures up and have all your stock ready, you're set.
Yeah.
And pictures are the most important part of eBay, in my opinion. So, yeah.
So do you have all 5 stars on eBay, or do you have anyone hit you with some bad reviews?
It's inevitable. You'll get some bad reviews. I actually have no bad reviews right now, but I mean, I
Yeah,
could.
because it clears off after a while,
Yeah,
right?
it clears off after 12 months, and there are ways to get the reviews off. You just have to keep calling eBay. You just keep bugging them like, "Hey, can I talk to someone about this review?" And you just keep calling, and
Yeah.
hopefully they get it taken off, or you try to correct it. But it's eBay is a customer based company, just like Amazon. The customer's always right. So yeah.
Yeah. Let me catch up on the chat for a second. I'm used to Blake doing it, but what's up, Christopher, Ghostwatch? Glad you're here. Asian Ethan, how's it going? Let's see, Lex is here. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're excited to have you. Rebecca's here. White Owl, it's been a while for White Owl. I'm really glad she could join us. Carrie and Phantom of Darkness, thank you guys. We're excited to do this. Strip teasing is fun and fairly sustainable. I mean, got to get that Pornhub account going for the kinkiest. And yeah, Rebecca said I used to sell stuff on eBay. So yeah, the worst I got was a neutral review. I was really lazy about shipping stuff. So like if I didn't ship on time, I would just give the person two things.
Oh.
I was not the most profitable person to do that because I'm like, oh, I did not ship that. So let me just double up and please don't knock me on a review. So how do you deal with shipping? Did you do stamps.com? Let's get a segue into this not sponsored video.
Oh, I did not, but shipping took me some time to learn. I ship everything in these bags. So they're just like eBay bags. And then I use like this sticker paper that you would print off in a inkjet printer. And you want to do that because if it rains, it doesn't melt any of the ink off. So I print that off, I put it on the label and just ship it. eBay makes it pretty simple to ship. It was confusing at first. It was. It is intimidating. I remember being in high school thinking, I wonder how does this work? But yeah, that's how I do it. I just print them off and throw them on the bag and take them to the post office. And I live in a city, so I'm less than a mile away from the post office. So I just go there at the end of every day and drop them off. So
Hold on, I had a shipping question. I almost lost it. Okay. Do you make people is shipping free or do you charge extra?
It really depends on the item, but typically I let it be free because on the weekends, I let it be free because more people are willing to buy it if it's fast and free shipping. But if I do that, I make sure my prices are, at a good point to where they would buy it.
Yeah.
And I would still make profit. I mean, the discount part of eBay, if you're a certain member, you can put discounts on your items. And so every weekend I just do discounts and with free shipping, and it sells pretty fast. And that's really, for me, the best way to get stuff moving. So yeah, it just depends. In the week, I make them pay. In the weekend, I typically don't. So
yeah. So we got to find you during the weekend.
yeah, exactly.
So what do you think? You said eBay is kind of hard to sell on. What do you think of like people finding you on eBay? How do you rank it? Do you do any like SEO or do you just hope for the best?
How do people find my product on eBay?
Yeah, do they just search and you hope you show up like close to the top? Like how do you rank in eBay?
Yeah. It just varies. I don't do a lot of SEO stuff. I mean, I would say if they type in certain product, I would come at the top. Sometimes I sponsor stuff. I mean, that's a really easy way to get stuff moving as well. And if you sponsor your eBay item, it comes up at the top immediately. So, and it also depends at what star you are. Like for me, I think my stuff naturally ranks pretty high because I have I just a bigger, more product on there. So yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca said that to tell you that your mom is the nicest person ever, and that she's
Oh,
lucky to have you as a son.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she works with your mom, so
Oh, that's so cool. I love my mom. Yeah,
yeah.
she's awesome. I saw my niece went to work today with her or something like that. So yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
So,
So what does your wife think about all of this? Like all your, did she jump in and you're like, wow, this dude does a lot. How do you manage all of that?
yeah, my wife. Okay, so she doesn't care. The biggest problem is there's so much product. I mean, as you see, it's stacked to the ceiling, and that's just part of it. I mean, we have. I mean, that's she doesn't care. But as far as the hardest part is, we live in an apartment, and it's pretty big, but we just have product everywhere. It's just we bought closet like rolling closets to put all my product on, and yeah, that's kind of annoying. But she loves it. She doesn't care. She's like, oh yeah, she keeps me doing something. Um, so yeah, that's what she thinks of it. What was the second part of your question?
I guess like how do you manage all of it? You say you have your own. You should do like a quick tour of all your product one day. I guess that doesn't really fit with your crypto channel. I was trying to think
Yeah,
of easy content for you to make. So
I know. And yeah, I mean, I could do that, but as far as managing it, um, it is hard during certain months. So when I work at the university, I mainly work from April to September. But after September, I only have to work one like normal job. And that's when I get a lot of my other side hustles done. I still do stuff in the summer when I'm doing my university job, but it's just a little bit harder. It's just about staying on top of it. So on the weekends, when it comes to eBay, in my opinion, the hardest part is taking pictures and uploading them and making sure all the details are correct because it's so much product. I mean, we're talking like hundreds of uploads of different items. And so that is you're doing that on the weekend. So I don't have to do it in the week. So just planning properly. Um, that's how I would say I do it. And crypto, I can do so for crypto, I do in the morning. I buy in the morning. If I want to swing trade, I would buy that in the morning, then sell that when I get home. So I have most of the day to do whatever, go to work or whatever. Um, so hopefully that makes sense. So eBay on the weekends, make sure I get whatever I need done, check my product that's sold, take it to the store at the end of the day. So it's not much in the day. Crypto, buy in the morning, go to a normal job in the afternoon, come back and sell my crypto as I need, or I have little alerts set on uh, my inventory or my crypto. So if something drops below or it goes up a certain, it just sells automatically. So it's just a lot of just planning and making sure you're on top of stuff. So
yeah. Carrie asked like what kind of stuff do you sell? Like give a breakdown again of your
yeah,
type of inventory.
um,
So what got you well, you got into like car manuals and stuff. Like what else? Like what's your most profitable thing that you or the
yeah.
easiest to sell?
Um, so I sell clothing. Uh, so when I sold car manuals, that was awesome. It's so interesting because the only people that have car manuals are dealerships. So that got me interested in selling my personal product. Well, when I first started, I just was buying random stuff. Like I would go to Goodwill. I live near Chicago, so there's lots of like awesome thrift stores of rich people that you can just buy a Keurig that's brand new for $10. You can flip it. So I started with that, but then I got into clothing, sports clothing specifically. And along with my more high end items that I sell in the fall, um, is Supreme and Adidas and Nike and whatever is hot this season, Kith. And I run bots to get that. But my main source is just sports clothing. My most profitable thing are things that sell fast. For some reason, spandex sells really fast, and sometimes football helmets sell a lot as well. So hopefully,
Yeah.
so
So how did you fund this initially? Like what's the best way for someone who doesn't have much money but has a lot of free time or no money at all, like how does someone get started? Like where would you recommend in all the different like hustles you do? Like
Yeah.
what's the way to start grinding when you have more time than money? Because you have like a lot of inventory there. I can only imagine how much money
Yeah.
you have just in inventory behind you. So
I mean, you can flip items with $5, you know. So I guess maybe clean out your own house would be the easiest way to build up some money for a side hustle.
it's
If
a
you're
Dave
talking
Ramsey
eBay.
way. Just start selling everything. It's got to
Yeah,
go.
exactly. I mean, that really would be the easiest way. But I would say if you're doing eBay, go to thrift stores, go to yard sales. I mean, you can make a killing. I know people back from my home area that would go to yard sales and make easy 20 grand a year, just making it their full time. On the weekends in the summer, they would just go around to yard sales and buy and sell stuff, especially if you can get into antiques and if you can get into a niche. So for me, high end clothing on eBay and sports clothing is really my specialty. And so, and also, I know how to, if I see a product cheap online, I know how to buy it and flip it. So if you can hone in on something, but really just anything on the thrift store, as far as crypto, that takes some time and it takes it's completely different. It takes a lot of reading and researching um, to get into that, but you could still do it. I mean, if you wanted to, it's just very different. It's completely different than the stock market as well. So um, yeah, that's what I would say with getting into that or anything. Just go around and flip items, and that's how you would get it. So yeah.
Yeah. So what about someone like how much money like when you're making money, how much do you save versus how much do you put back into the inventory?
Wow, that's a really good question. You know, for me, it I haven't really gone that deep into it. I at this point I have such a high okay, my increase on items are so high. I've never really cared about how much I, save or lose or whatever. I typically just throw a couple $1,000s at whatever I'm doing. Like if I need more inventory, it's not a big deal for me just to throw $1,000 at it and get however many items I get with $1,000 and go from there. At this point, I find it easier. So for me, it's 1,000. When I first started out, it was 300, and I would go and get $300 of whatever items I'm buying. So if 300 got me 25 items, I would just do that and try to make my 300 back. There's not, I mean, I guess in theory, I would say probably try to save 60% and spend 40%. I guess
I just know with like businesses, it's really easy to get trapped into like all the money you make getting put back into the business. So really, you're
mm,
just like grinding constantly, never really seeing benefit, except maybe like 5 years from now, you might have like a really sustainable business. But at first, it's literally just you get money, you throw it right back into it. So
yeah. Yeah, the beautiful thing about online business, I mean, for eBay and my situation is I have such a high profit rate compared to what I originally buy the item at. It's nice. I don't worry too much about that. But I could totally see how if you're going to open up a donut shop, that would be, you probably wouldn't make a lot of money until you paid off whatever, your whatever you use a donut shop for, your products, your metal stuff you use to cook donuts. So I don't know. Yeah.
hey man, there's some donut places springing up around here, starting as
I
food
know.
trucks, and then like they're getting a huge following. So
I know. I've really thought about certain donut franchises in the Midwest. Um, I've looked into franchises. It's really interesting. So yeah.
what do you mean? So you would think I was going to ask you. So with all this business experience, would you start another business, or are you? This, but I was thinking this would go on with your like life goal question I have for you. So would you want to start another business or like an actual like retail type business where you have people come in, like you said, a franchise or like because you're learning a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, I have been really spoiled with my business that I have. because it the profit rate is so high. I feel like you can't apply that to any other business.
Well,
I mean,
you just
maybe you could.
mentioned donuts, man. Coffee.
I
Coffee
mean,
has an
coffee.
insane markup on
I
it.
know it is. I know. I don't know. It would have to be the right business. I would never open up a storefront place to sell clothing. Um, that just isn't me. But I could see. I mean, maybe some people do. Maybe some people do that and do eBay. I don't know. I wouldn't want to do that. If I opened up a business, I think I would want to open up a financial firm and do something like that. So that nothing like selling product besides whatever financial product I would be selling or whoever I would be working for. So yeah.
So what do you see in the future? Like what kind of trends do you see going? Like what do you think is going to be dying out? Like what do you think is taking off either clothing wise or anything else that you're following like trends?
Yeah, when I think of, when I hear that, I think of crypto or just financial trends. But I'll answer both. So as far as clothing, um, it will Nike stuff will always be popular. Sports clothing will always be popular. I feel like, I mean, the people are always going to buy them, shoes and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be good. eBay, I question eBay a lot. Like, will it still be around? But in my opinion, if it's made it this far, like, I feel like it's not going to go anywhere at this point. I mean, anytime soon. Amazon's definitely taken over. If you can sell on Amazon, that's the best place to sell. I mean, I wish I could sell some of my product on Amazon. That's where a lot of the money is at. For me, I don't have receipts to my product. So I can't sell, or even it doesn't matter if you even buy a Nike shirt, you can't sell that on Amazon without an official contract with Nike, which you got to get that and pay 3,000 extra dollars to Amazon to be a partner. And that's just
Damn.
so a lot of so I would say a lot of the future and even now it's in Amazon and being able to get those contracts with big companies because everyone uses Amazon.
Yeah, but
Um,
if you had big enough on eBay, have that money to funnel into Amazon to become an official
I
partner.
know. I mean, even, but the thing is, it has to be approved by Nike, and they'll never do that. Um, there's so many things on Amazon that need official contracts from even selling certain microphones or cameras, stuff like that. You have to have an official contract with Canon to do that, but that's where the money's at. I
Yeah,
think.
I know. Like I couldn't sell when I was doing yoga pants that like we custom made. Like I had these yoga pants with pockets like designed in China, made
That's cool.
and manufactured, but I didn't have them tagged because it wasn't a brand.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sell them on Amazon because they weren't like tagged. So that's
Yeah.
whatever. But someone, hold on, someone, Carrie asked you, what's your feedback score and rating on eBay? Can you talk about that?
That's funny.
Like, do you know off
Um,
the top of your head?
I don't, maybe like 400 or 500 stars.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'd say like 450 stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm at like 50.
Yeah, there's so to me, feedback stars doesn't mean anything because there's so many people out there that just buy feedback stars. So all you got to do is buy penny baseball cards. So you buy a baseball card for a penny from different sellers, and they leave you good feedback, and that's how you get 3,000 stars. And that's how you scam people as well. You people out there get 500 to 1,000 stars for like $5. Um, and I mean, it's really popular with crypto mining equipment to get really high stars on eBay and sell it, and you rip people off. So, yeah.
So do you think the stars don't matter? Like, why are you not
No.
trying to hustle for the stars?
I mean, I think normal people who aren't, I mean, they do matter, but I think in the same way, you could easily be tricked by people on eBay.
Yeah. I mean, I
But
don't take someone's overall score unless it's bad, that serious on eBay. I'm just like,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So
I think most of us could tell if it was a bad eBay account. Like, oh yeah, they're just shady. Um, you can even look at the product or the product pictures or how they spell stuff on the information detail tab of eBay.
Yeah, I mean, mostly, yeah, like you said, like it's really easy to see. Like most of them have a theme, and you can tell if it's garbage or not. Like if they're really in it. So
Yeah.
someone
Um,
said you should also like. Have you ever thought about opening a restaurant or a sandwich shop?
oh my gosh, that's so funny. I think I know who that person is, but yes, I have thought about opening up a sandwich shop um, before. So there's a place called Sandwich near where I'm at, and it doesn't have a sandwich shop. It's called Sandwich, Illinois, and everyone goes there for antique shops. It has one of the biggest fairs in the area. It's just a really popular place to go shopping, and they don't have a sandwich shop, but their town is called Sandwich. And so I've always thought it would be fun to open up a sandwich shop there.
Man,
So
you just could call it Puffs, man.
yeah,
Coffee and sandwiches.
exactly. So yeah. But I want to answer the second part of the future of finance and crypto and
Yeah,
where I think that's going. So last year crypto went up so much. Uh, it 6,000% for so many altcoins and overnight millionaires. But I don't think it's going to stay like that. I mean, stuff has jumped so much, but that attracted a lot of millennials to get into crypto. And I think more in the future, more millennials will invest into crypto. Well, we'll just call it digital currencies because that's what it really is. I think more people will invest into digital currencies than uh, the older generation. But along with just in general, I think the financial industry is going towards a lot of AI financial uh, options. So if you meet with your uh, financial planner and they give you some suggestions, or if you have someone at Edward Jones, they're going to have some AI that tells them what is the best option for you. And they're going to pick certain index funds for you. And so that will be interesting to see. I mean, they already do that. Goldman Sachs already has a AI system that picks stuff for their people. So it will be interesting to see where the financial world goes and how the market uh, is in the future. So
yeah. I never thought about the AI part about how like kind of lazy like financial planners might be just selling insurance. Like the computer does a lot of the work. I just have to
yeah,
interpret what the computer's telling me. So I could see that in the same way with financial planners. They just type some stuff in, being it's going to present something. They just have
yeah,
to make sure they're doing everything morally and ethically, like doing the like human side of
yeah.
everything. So
Oh man, I had a discussion with someone about it about a month ago. They work at Goldman Sachs and they were telling me that all their boss does is just tells the machine or whatever he uses the machine, the computer software about
yeah,
the person, and it picks them for him, their age and everything. I mean, the guy, and these are like high up people. So that's crazy. But also it's crazy, but it's also good for the market. Good, like kind of good. It makes everything more stable. Um, that's good, but it's also bad. I mean, there's a lot of this is my opinion. There's a lot of growth that should happen in the stock market um, right now that is being held back and governed, I guess you could say. So that stock prices don't rise too fast. Um, and I think a lot of this AI stuff will also help stock prices not rise too fast because if they rise too fast, they'll crash. And I think that's what we're trying to prevent right now. Is the another big crash, and I think they will. I mean, in my opinion, it's all controlled by people who are very rich, um, and that's just how it is. I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna say like one question would be like about financial conspiracies, but give me a second. Whiteout is going, so hope you have
mhm,
a good night, Whiteout. Thank you for joining us for this long. You have a good night and stay strange. And Carrie was asking how we know each other. Yeah, Rebecca answered we went to high school. I went to the same school, and now he's moved on to bigger and better things than being stuck in Southern Virginia. So, I mean,
yeah.
how do you like where you are compared to where you're from?
Um, I definitely miss where I'm from. There, the you don't drive as much here. You don't. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You don't have to drive everywhere, in where I'm from and where you're from, you drive everywhere, in my opinion. It's just,
Yeah, definitely. There's no real walking. Like even all right, for we have these lunch meetings like every 2 weeks for this Optimist Club we're in, and it's literally like a block away. It's like a 2 minute walk, and we still drive there. And
that's
I'm always
hilarious.
like, if we were in college, we'd walk that without thinking. We
Yeah.
instead we get in our cars, go past this one red light, park, go inside. Like that's pretty lazy. So
Yeah. I mean, not only am I in a different state than where I grew up, I'm on a university campus. So that in itself is also different. It's just more academic, more education based, lots of different people doing lots of different projects. So, uh, yeah, it is different. It's colder here. I'm near Chicago. It Yeah, I mean, I do miss being in uh the South. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, a lot of people call where we're from now lately Little Chicago. So it's almost
Oh,
like
yeah, I know. I've seen the news, which is, I mean, it really, okay, I'm not kidding. When I go home, I am sometimes more scared to go into the Walmart than I am in my own town.
yeah.
I think it's just because I don't know why. I mean, it's just scary. It just is. I mean, but I love it. I mean, it's funny because that's what I grew up with. So it's like, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, here's some quick news highlights for you. Strangest news from Southern Virginia. A guy who owned our lovely Mega Bounce house play area that people used to take their kids for birthdays. He got arrested for sexual assault, rape, and a
Mhm.
bunch of other stuff of this person who worked for him. Claimed it was all, false accusations. Well, he got out of jail on bond after 2 months in jail,
Wow.
and he went and killed that person's mother and then tried to stab her to death, but he got caught. And then another one was a person Rebecca went to high school with is now on the run, fled the country after stealing $600,000 from the local credit union. So,
No way.
yeah, man, some
That's so
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah,
Credit unions, man.
they apparently have some money. If you think about ways to make money, you guys don't
You know,
do it that way. You don't
yeah,
want to live in Mexico looking behind your back the rest of your
no,
life.
that would be
So,
the worst. Just for 600 grand,
yeah.
like,
Hey,
can't.
look at you. You're like 600 grand. That's not even a millionaire by 30. Come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
You have to have some
No,
good investments pan out with that. So
yeah. Um, I want to talk about financial conspiracies.
yeah. So what are some of your financial conspiracies?
Well, one of them I kind of just shared, and that is, I mean, I've talked with some professors who believe this as well, that our government and a lot of the people directly correlated with a lot of the exchange, they are putting up smoke and mirrors so that our stock market doesn't crash. And because they're doing that by, like I said, governing or holding back stocks from rising. And that's very interesting because they're trying to prevent what happened in 2008 again with different loans. So it's not just mortgage loans now; it's school loans that are being paired up with other bad school loans. That is, pretty bad. So, but and that's a conspiracy because if America found out or believed that, I mean, I think a lot of people would pull their money out of the U.S. market. Um, so to go along with that, I think crypto is a counter to that, which gives you more freedom to not be controlled by a government. So, and I have some, I mean, okay, so in the crypto world, there's the Bitcoin blockchain. And then Harvard has developed a different platform called Hashgraph, which is being controlled by our government, which is crazy to think. So everything in crypto that we know now will be taken over by Hashgraph, which is made by Harvard, which is kind of crazy. So they're trying to get in now, and they're going to try to switch over to the Hashgraph platform for digital currencies, and that
But I
would
thought the
change
whole
everything.
blockchain thing was a really big part of crypto, though, with like most cryptos. So Like, how are they going to successfully switch it? I mean, I thought that was like one of the appeals to crypto. Like, what's the difference between the two platforms?
Um, so a lot of cryptos on our, I guess you would say, a simple way of putting it, on the current blockchain there are a lot of anonymous cryptos, tokens and coins that are completely anonymous. So Monero is a very common one where if I wanted to trade with you, like I wanted to send you $1 million with no trace, I could do that with Monero. You
And
can't
that's
do
like
that.
the beauty of crypto, though, isn't
but,
it?
but
Like, where you can just slide some digital,
I know.
like a digital handshake of here you go.
I know, but the reality is most coins and tokens are not anonymous. So Bitcoin is not anonymous. You can track everything about Bitcoin. You can track everything on the Ethereum platform. There are just certain tokens and coins that are completely anonymous, and that is what uh, I think that is what a lot of people that are in crypto right now, or maybe not right now, but last year, that's what they were hoping for, a new world of currency, a different way of using our money. But it's just being taken over by governments and really powerful people, because they want to stay in power. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that the crypto market reached $1 trillion total market cap. I mean, that's insane. I
It's like
think
the
all of the
size
money
of
market.
Apple, man.
Yeah, no. So yeah.
So you think it's all going to be controlled by the government? Do you think you'll see governments of like other countries switching to a cryptocurrency or all digital currency anytime soon?
Um, I kind of. I think the people of certain countries rely on crypto. I mean, Venezuela and even parts of Colombia really rely on crypto. And the most popular one that they use is OMG. It's like a, I guess the easiest way to put it is a token, a bank token that just stays a very reliable uh price that they like to use. So yeah, I mean it would be rare, but yes, I do see it being very important to other countries. I think no government wants to be a part of any cryptocurrency that is currently out there.
They
Um,
want to make their own.
yeah, they want to make their own. I mean, even Edward Jones and Goldman Sachs and Fidelity. I mean, their Fidelity at one point or still is building an exchange, and you can bet they're going to have something called like Fidelity Coin that that you can use to buy stuff. So
Yeah. Hold on, let's talk about how big, like some people don't understand, I guess, how big crypto is. Like you told me like Disney has their own crypto. Is that right? Facebook like bought
yeah,
one
so
crypto platform. So it's becoming a really big thing. It's not just an underground thing. I mean, most people you can talk to about crypto, they at least know a little bit about it. And
yeah,
even a guy was telling me, it's like, oh, you should play poker with crypto, like do
yeah.
some online gambling.
Yeah, I mean, crypto is a huge deal. I mean, I guess one that really catches everyone's eye, and the thought is that Disney really made a cryptocurrency. They made something called Dragon Chain. You can buy it now. It was built on the Python platform, um, and it's just crazy to think that they were in this world. I mean, so companies are in this world. America uh, has really high. American banks have highly invested into a token called Ripple, and I mean, it's a huge deal. Lots of different companies, even Universal Studios has made huge investments into cryptocurrencies and companies that have their own cryptocurrency for whatever reason. Uh, so it really is it kind of took over last year, and a lot of companies are being weeded out this year. But I think when quarter 4 hits at the end of this year, we're going to see a lot of you know roadmaps and completions that people have made over the past year. So yeah,
So I'm hoping, man, fourth quarter.
yeah.
No.
So I mean, I have a friend who works for the YouTuber Preston Plays. We're really close. He's actually the one that got me into um, bots for clothing. He builds them, so
I was
he's
about to say,
really
like, how do bots work? I've never messed with bots, but I hear like Facebook does a lot with bots. A lot of other companies are doing stuff with bots. Like how does it work?
Yeah, bots are really interesting in the fact that it's just an automated way that you sign up for or you grab a product. So I guess the easiest way to put it is if I wanted to buy a Supreme hoodie, Supreme hoodies retail for 120. Depending on what you get, you can sell them for around $600 to $1,200. But the thing is, you can only buy one hoodie per name and per credit card. And so we have bots that put in names, first names, last names, addresses. We get a bunch of addresses, or we use a company that has a bunch of different addresses and they ship them to us. And so the bot would put in a bunch of different names and a bunch of different credit cards, and it just runs the system and it continually tries to buy a product just nonstop. It just clicks it and spams the website. And Supreme is a great example because it happens every single Thursday at 10 a.m. my time. It's just spammed with bots. So all these systems are running and the website crashes, and people are trying to order hundreds of hoodies just to make it, So yeah. And there are ways to get into that. I mean, I know everyone doesn't have 100 credit cards, but there are websites out there that you can use to uh, just with your own credit card, you can buy 100 different credit card numbers.
So do you have 100 different credit cards in your wallet?
No, it's really just the numbers. I mean, and they expire after a certain time. There are some really great websites to let you do that. So yeah.
This is like the cheating the system of life, man.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you didn't go to college for all this. You've just learned it like along the way. Do you think college is even worth it?
you know, okay, so this is, I would say, college is not for everybody. You know, there are some people out there that just wouldn't do well in college. In my opinion, college is a great way to get your foot in the door to a lot of companies, to make uh, connections with people and have friends. Um, I would say college is worth it depending on what field you're going into.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, and I think a lot of companies are hesitant to hire people. Well, especially if you want to be higher up, they're not going to hire you. The standards of HR are just really high at a lot of companies. I mean, you're not going to be an executive director at Coca-Cola without some degree. It's just, even if you have all the experience in the world, if you want to work at a really high-end business job or wherever, you're going to need, even if you want to work at a factory, and you want to be a manager, a lot of them require at least an associate's degree. And I know a lot of people go back to do that. So I would say yes and no. I would say yes, it is important, but also I understand that specifically college is not for everybody. So
Yeah, it's definitely not a thing you want to be stuck doing, paying a bunch of money, not having a clear direction.
oh man, I
I mean, if
know.
you have that family bankroll and can do it, I mean, that's fine. But I mean, if it's your own money, you shouldn't just be spending tens of 20 of thousands of dollars a semester just to be trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah,
Um, so what
definitely.
does your resume look like? Do you put any of this on there? Do you try to slide this in any way, or is it all just
Um,
straight like college, religion?
yeah, man. I haven't really applied to any job that would probably find this interesting. Um, my resume would probably consist of, yeah, I think if I was gonna work at a business, I would definitely put eBay on there. I have a partner that got me in on eBay, and so I would probably put his stuff in there as well. Just like, oh, me and him work together, and he has his own company, like it's a legit company. So I'd probably put his name on there just to add to my business resume if I ever were to go out. And actually, um, I want to be in finance in some way. I'm pretty young. I don't think anyone cares to take professional financial advice from anyone under 35. But eventually, I would show my crypto smash videos, my portfolio stuff, if I ever were going for a finance job. So I really want to be a CFA, and a great way to get experience with CFA and that type of stuff is to show a portfolio or to kind of just keep track of what you've been doing. So
You're the most like interesting financial person I've met since college, and you don't really, you're not studying finance. Just hearing the stuff you talk about, it's more in tune. I mean, it's not like the stuff they teach you in school, and I mean, the real world application goes like so far. Like, I mean, if we need a chief financial officer, he'd be up there. Like, man, like let's make money doing all the things. You almost like have like this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde life. Like, yeah, do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So does your wife ever get annoyed with you doing all this stuff? Like, does she ever think you're crazy? Like, how often are you on your phone just on a day-to-day basis, like checking stuff?
Dude, it's nonstop. I mean, I'll be even sitting in church service and I have like stuff going off. I mean, I it's nonstop. If I have to wake up at 4 a.m. to do something, I don't care. I'll get up. If I have to make a trade because China's going crazy and whatever, I'll make a trade. I mean, I have, so, I mean, she doesn't really care. I have a really cool wife. I mean, sometimes it can be annoying, but yeah, she's really supportive of that. So yeah, my phone is pretty busy. So
yeah.
And the thing is, it's not with people. It's just with machines that are texting me information or updates I get. It's so funny because I'm pretty introverted. I like collecting a lot of information. I mean, I read white papers for fun, or annual reports of whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Carrie's calling me out on not putting your channel in the description. Give me a second. So hold on, let's segue real quick, just talking about your channel. So your channel is Crypto Smash. What made you, sorry to distract, what made you decide to make a YouTube channel?
You know, YouTube is something that I have always wanted to get involved in. I've always loved making videos, and I just thought that now would be the time to do it. It was the beginning of the year. Crypto was already doing really well. I got into crypto at some point last summer. And so when December or January came around, I just thought, man, I could do this. I could, you know, there's so many different cryptos out there. I could make a channel and talk about it. So yeah, that's why I just wanted to.
So why did you stop? Like, so your channel, like one of your videos has over 23,000 views, which is twice as many as our top video. And lately, I was telling you this before the stream, like my analytics when I was going to link you and apparently didn't put it in the description because it didn't save, but it said you were gaining 20 subs a day, which is pretty crazy. We're averaging 15 a day, which is like our most this summer. We're really lucky with that, but 20 a day is pretty big.
Yeah, man. I mean, what made me stop was my university job. I just didn't have the time. And I guess I had made 40 videos at that point. And when you make that many videos every single day, you just get in your head how you want it to be. And it just takes a lot of work. And I was doing some deep research on stuff. And I was just like, I can't do this because I just couldn't. I was just like, I don't want to put out bad stuff.
I mean, you could just go live and just literally talk about the trades you made that day. Just say stuff you're doing. And in a way that could almost benefit you if you get a big enough following. That's like insider trading. Start influencing the market there.
It's true. But yeah, that's why I stopped. I started traveling.
I thought you didn't like traveling, man.
Yeah. So that was why. But when I was traveling, I did one video where I just did it on my phone. So, but I do this past week, I've been thinking, man, I really need to make another video. And if I did, I think I would just make one on cryptos that cryptos that I like and just do some deep research on them. So
I mean, you should do it. I mean, I'd be up for just doing like a live stream with you each week on your channel, except just me just asking you questions and stuff and you just answering them if that'd be easy. Yeah. Just make content. Because I mean, I think it's really interesting. It's a lot to dive into if you don't know crypto. That's why I was trying to ask you more about eBay stuff because I've done eBay and other side hustles. I think having some sort of side hustle, even if you have a job, just having something on the side to make money I had someone tell me that like most millionaires have at least 6 streams of income. So I'm trying to hit that six.
Yeah.
So
I've heard that before too. I know there's this podcast. It's all about side hustles. I don't remember what it's called. Maybe it's called Side Hustle. I don't know. They talk about everything, just what people do. And millennials often have side hustles, I think more than most generations.
I mean, it's
So,
becoming more and more the shit. Like, man, hear my grandpa talk about things, and then when I try to relate to him about how things are like now, it's like you have to do a lot to survive these days. Like, I mean, even in where we're from, has a really low cost of living, but you almost have to have a significant other or a really good roommate just to stay afloat in our town if you're like living on your own. Because I mean, stuff gets expensive unless you have a really good job right out of college or something. So, and that's becoming rare and rarer, like the way things are. Usually people sit even a year or two out of college trying to find a job that actually lines up with what they want to do and what they went to college for and get hired for. So,
yeah. Um, a friend posted something about how the average salary of a man has been $37,000 for the past 30 plus years. And if that's true, even if it's true for 20 years, the average salary of just a man in America, 37 grand, even if it was 40 grand, real estate has gone up, cost of living has gone up, education has gone up, you know? So,
I mean,
yeah,
education has shot up like crazy. Like,
I know. I think it's going to keep going up too.
yeah, like a lot of my grandpa's friends, like who went to college, like they worked and put
Yeah,
themselves through college. I'm like, that's so hard to do these days with like the
I
wages you
know.
can get while you're in school without like a necessary skill. Unless you're really lucky and find something, it's not even for the most hardworking person. It's difficult to not be doing something besides like waiting tables and I like at a really nice restaurant where you're going to
Yeah.
make really good tips that night. I mean, it's hard to find something.
Yeah, and I think the f- going back to the future question, I think most people in our generation will not even invest because for a long time because they will be paying their loans for, many years after college. So many people go to college and they get loans, which can be a good thing if they know what they're going into, but it's just another unnecessary debt on the American person to have that.
Yeah. I'm talking about if you're talking about like financial conspiracies, there's almost finance and like the higher people controlling like the market to make sure it doesn't crash. You can almost go to say that there's built-in systems in place to keep people kind of at a certain tier in life wherever you're kind of born into. Whether if you're like super poor, you have like the way the banking system works, you have to have a certain amount of money in your account. You're gonna get hit with fees when you overdraft. They're gonna just like literally just destroy you with fees. You have to
Mhm.
have a bank account to do everything. And if nothing else, you might get stuck using the bank at Walmart and they have the worst fees. If you go further up where you get into college, you're going to get like the student loan, which is going to cost you a fortune. It's going to hold you back only to get a house loan, which is going to cost a fortune. It's kind of like they're like, how can we make more money from house loans? Like if you're thinking like conspiracies back in the day, like that's a way to make people kind of like slaves. Let's do it for college and jack up the
I know.
prices.
It's
So I
just
mean, it's
greed, you know?
yeah,
It's greed from our government.
yeah.
So, yeah,
So
I want to say that I don't understand why we do that to our people. I don't understand why we put them in such weird financial places, even with credit cards. I mean, why does GameStop need a credit card or whatever company you want to say have their own credit card? And it's just people get them and it destroys their credit and you can't do stuff without good credit. People don't even realize why is credit good and how do you build healthy credit? I mean, it's just when you get one, you don't even realize what you're signing up for, and everything revolves around just a stupid credit score. It's point. There's no reason to it really, besides it gets you better deals and interest, and yeah, it's
even
interesting.
your like car and your home insurance revolves around like your credit score. Like everything gets factored into it. You're talking about like preventing a financial collapse. Like one of the things I see is like car loans. Like they're really crazy. The stuff people get stuck with, and the interest rate, and how easy it is for people to be like what is it like have an upside down car loan real quick these days. It's really rough. It's just like things to trap people. So
Yeah, and it generally traps. I mean, unfortunately, it traps the poor because
yeah.
they just don't know, and that's just yeah, it's just not good for our economy. I mean, we have the highest GDP in all the world, but eventually that will go away. I mean, so and we're destroying our own people. A lot. I mean, I think a big part of that is the school loan stuff. I mean, Sally Mae, I think it was under Bill Clinton that we did some crazy stuff in the 90s, and Sally Mae was able to get more. Uh, we were able to ask students to take on more student loans, and it just went crazy. So now you have a bunch of 35-year-olds without, they don't have a full home. They don't own a car outright because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had like old people like in their 50s say that they'll never be out of debt. Like they've just accepted the fact that they'll always have to be like buying another car and still have a loan or even like where they live and all that stuff. I mean, in our area where we're from, like it almost makes more sense to finance a home and even at a 30-year rate and have like a crazy like you pay a lot of interest, but your cost like the cost of renting here compared to owning is so crazy that it's almost worth having some crazy interest. And if you're in like your 40s or 50s, you die with a house loan, who cares? You still live cheaper than like paying rent. So,
Yeah.
mm. But
Yeah.
there's another thing. All right, you talked about what do you think about like universal income or something like that, where people should have like guaranteed? And you're talking about how we have the greatest like GDP and stuff like that as a first world country, and we have all these great things in our country. What do you think about like healthcare or universal income? Like, what do you think a government is up to provide for people in the state that the amount of money we have? I guess in a way.
Yeah. I'm not sure that I have a full opinion on it. I mean, I see the benefits of giving everyone healthcare, but what people need to realize is the countries that have, free healthcare and free education, they get taxed way more on everything, which could be good. I mean, it might be good. A big problem, in my opinion, is the healthcare system. Doctors make an insane amount of money. I have families. I mean, I have a lot of my family as doctors. I mean, multiple, over four are doctors in my family. And they hate this. But the reality is, doctors get paid too much money, and insurance companies, I mean, it's kind of crazy, which I think if that gets fixed, we could justify free healthcare. And it's not fixed. I think that's one thing that's going to have to change, and people are going to have to accept that they're going to get taxed more. So, yeah, I think it would be great. I mean, great if we want to have free healthcare, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting when you think about how much money that goes around. Like, what's the when you get to being the like leading country, where we still are, technically, like in the way of life and money and everything? Is there a moral obligation to anything? Like
Oh
Carrie
yeah.
just said, I said down with insurance companies. Ethan, did you hear that? My insurance, we do car and home insurance primarily. I don't think I could justify being a health insurance agent from like a moral standpoint, just because of all the stuff that goes on. I mean, even like with Rebecca, like my wife, she's diabetic, and even Father Michael, they both have to deal with so much stuff insurance wise. It is a conspiracy, and it makes me think. And that's why I think of like what from a standpoint as like if you think we're the pinnacle of society, which a lot of people are really pro America think we are, like what does that mean? What should the common citizen have like when you're looking at taking care of people overall? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Um,
That was kind of derailed what we're usually talking about. It's just I hear it a lot because like work with a lot of old people, and they're all like I don't want to say greedy, but they're all like set in life and they don't want to give anything up. So
Unfortunately, the reason this is my opinion, and I'm sure people are going to be like, I don't agree with you. I think the reason we are so wealthy and we are the way we are is because we are greedy and we let the poor person die. And if we were ever to, I mean, if we were ever to change that and say we need to give everyone a great opportunity, we need to improve our education system and give them proper health care, then we wouldn't be top dog. Unfortunate. The country that generates billions and trillions of dollars from war and from seeing people die is going to be the one that makes a lot of money. I mean, really, there's so much money in that. You can. So that's my opinion, but I don't agree with that. But I think if we do that and we do give everyone healthcare and everything for free, our society's just going to change. I mean, I we won't be as pro military probably. I bet a lot of people wouldn't even go into the military. You know, why would they want free health? I mean, why would they go? You know,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have a huge military budget, and that's one reason why we don't have these other things. But people join the military to escape a lot of the problems
I
that.
mean, really, it's a free card to have no interest on your loan for cars or whatever you want to do and healthcare and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we even talk about like the people I know in the military. There's like the pandas that chase them to try to marry them for the benefits. So,
Yeah.
all right. So crypto in 2018 and everything. Do you think it's still worth like people investing and trying to dabble in crypto? Or do you think the crypto boom has already happened?
um I think a crypto boom has happened. I do think it's still okay. I do think it's still good to invest, and the reason is, um, because it's just now beginning to get brought into a lot of official uh, certifications, a lot of official meetings, and things like that. So, for example, the CFA, you guys know? Do you know what that is? The CFA?
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean, you should probably tell everyone
a
else.
charter financial holder. So you're just someone over advisor, charter
Yeah.
financial advisor. You're over a hedge fund, or your job is to make your customer the most money possible. Um, and this past year, digital currencies were added to their exam. A CFA exam is no joke. It's like the doctorate of the financial world. If you're going to be, you can't be a hedge fund manager without getting a CFA. Um, and it takes a lot of work. And so the fact that that was added to their exam, digital currencies, I think we're going to see uh, companies getting into digital currencies and cryptocurrencies because of that. Because managers, CFA people are going to want to make money. And a great way to make money is this other route that maybe the older generation is hearing Glenn Beck talk about. So that's a very detailed explanation. Yes, I think it will. I think Bitcoin will keep going up. I think the main cryptocurrencies that are healthy and get a lot of exposure will go up. There's a lot of smaller cryptos, tokens that I think will just disappear.
Do you think Bitcoin will stay as like the top crypto, or do you think anything will replace it?
Um, so earlier I mentioned something called Hashgraph. I think our government will stand behind Harvard and what they're developing because they can control it. But in general, I think Bitcoin will remain top dog. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, and you can't get them all until 2140. And because of that, I think that will always keep Bitcoin as the top. And it was also, it's just the biggest, most well known cryptocurrency. And when people say Bitcoin, they think it's referring to many like different currencies. I mean, they probably don't even know it's just one
Yeah,
thing.
it's almost when you say like Google search something. I mean, it's becoming like a household name. What about the whole conspiracy about who the guy who created Bitcoin? Do you have any personal thoughts on that, or like the
Um,
history behind Bitcoin?
I mean, I've read some stuff about it. I mean, I know there's some cheesy like documentaries on Netflix about it, but if you read his, I mean, no one really knows where he's at, obviously, but if you read his white paper and the story behind Bitcoin, Bitcoin does have a white paper that you can go through, and it's really a coin that was developed out of the recession. That's called a recession coin for a reason. So I really think there's a chance he could, screw everything up and do whatever he wants to do. Maybe. Like if he has other coins he's not telling people about, it can mess that stuff up, but I don't think that will happen. And a lot of the coins are still being mined and stuff is locked up until 2040, so 2140. So yeah.
I
It
read a
doesn't really
book
bother me.
Yeah, I mentioned this before. I read a book on the guy who created the Silk Road, like the drug empire,
Yeah.
dark web thing, and he just talks about all the Bitcoin and stuff he had. And it's like, and that was back in like 2010, maybe, when that takes place. I'm like, man, this dude would be like a trillionaire now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So
what do you think about like the dark web, deep web? Do you read about any of that, or
yeah, there's a guy named Avi, or what's his name? I don't know his other YouTube name. He does a bunch of stuff on the dark web that I've watched a lot about. It's interesting. I mean, he goes and I think a lot of his videos got deleted actually because he shows you how to get on it and all this crazy stuff. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's awesome, interesting stories and kind of crazy to think about. So
yeah?
yeah, I've never been on it, but yeah,
You've never been on it. I've
yeah.
never been on it either, but I used to like my cousin used to talk a whole lot about it, and like him and his neighbor used to watch the craziest shit on the dark web. I'm like, dude, that's creepy, man.
You know, that reminds me. I remember now. I wasn't on it, but I remember watching some crazy videos on it. In my freshman year of college, there was this like computer nerd guy who was like, "Oh, come down and watch this video." It was crazy. It was like the I don't know what it was, but it was like that.
Now,
So
my cousin and his neighbor would watch cartel videos. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, no, it was that. It was just a
see, yeah,
cartoon.
apparently it's a big thing. People
Yeah,
just
like
watch.
people like getting shot and stuff. It's
Yeah,
like okay,
like it was a big thing. Like,
yeah,
I'm just like, dude,
yeah.
I'm like, why would you want to just hang out and just watch cartel? Like,
I don't know.
this is real. It's not like a
Mm,
Netflix or anything. This is
I
like
know.
crazy people filming this shit to get off
I
to. Like,
know.
what the fuck? Like,
So,
yeah,
but he was a cool guy. So
yeah, I
besides
see.
that part, yeah.
So you mentioned the stock market. What do you think about it? Because at lunch you seemed like it wasn't that exciting. Like you think it might crash and be replaced by crypto, or like what do you think the overall? And you mentioned it might be being controlled. What do you think of
Yeah,
it? What do you?
yeah, just in general. I mean, okay, I think the stock market is controlled, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't be involved in it. I mean, it's just a part of life. I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon. I mean, you're talking about like a huge there's just so much power in the stock market. It's not going anywhere like anytime very soon. But I think crypto will digital currencies will hurt the stock market, I believe, in the next 5 years. I think it's just going to be part of life, especially as millennials want to invest into stuff. I think they're more likely to invest into crypto. With that being said, but um, stock market is important to me because it's what my Roth IRA is on, and yeah. So, and my Roth IRA, in my opinion, is one of my most stable and important investments that I have, or just in the long term. Like I've been investing in my Roth for a while, and I think that's just a really crucial part in having a healthy portfolio. So
So how many things are you invested in? Like a brief thing. Like so your Roth is the most like your most important. Like how much like a spread across the board? Like how much? How like what are all your investments? If you can talk about it, like just
yeah,
briefly.
um,
How do you keep up with it?
yeah, I just have for crypto, it's just wallets. I have multiple wallets that keep my crypto, and I have a Trezor that it's a little uh physical wallet, not like a leather wallet. It's a hard drive wallet, I guess you would say.
So
So
you
that's
keep do
where
you keep it on you all times?
uh not on me, no. I keep it in a safe place, in a
Yeah.
safe. So, but and that's really important. But that's for crypto. And on the Trezor, it just like tells you how many you have and uh, how much crypto you have and what it costs that day. You can just look it up. So I invested in crypto. As far as the Roth, I mean, yeah, I can make more money in crypto, and I have made more money in crypto, like a lot more money. But I'm just thinking in long term, I can always fall back on my Roth. I mean, I hope I invest into my Roth every single year, and it's just something that when I'm 65, I think that's going to be, you know, a huge part of my investment, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the whole raw things, like what I've heard from the very beginning is like what you should be investing in. But now you have all these other cool things, shiny things to invest in,
Yeah.
like crypto or the stock market. So, what do you think? And I was even talking about this in the chat beforehand, before all this started. What do you think about weed stock?
Oh yeah, weed stock. Dude, I think weed is gonna be huge. It already is huge. I mean, anything in the medical industry that um you can get into now, any stock that's on the or any company that's on the stock market that you can get into now that you think will be big, it's gonna be big. Like it's good for you to do that. So, but weed especially, I mean, I know a lot of stuff has been developed in the past, even the past year. I know one weed company from Canada maybe that went up in stock price like $30 since July. So yeah, I think weed's going to be big.
Yeah, we had a
So
stranger on here earlier that said that when she bought in on a Canadian weed company, it was $3 a share.
wow.
Now it's $60 a share. She earned enough to put a down payment on a house, and
Wow.
now she's living it up. So
Yeah. I mean, there's weed stock and there's also weed cryptocurrency. I think it's even just called weed
really,
crypto. So
I didn't know that. Let's a little should
yeah,
invest in that, man.
yeah, and it's actually it's a big deal, man. Someone is sponsored by it. The guy who used to be on the Chicago Bulls who goes to North Korea.
Oh yeah, Scotty Pippen.
No, Rob Don. What's his name? Oh man, I don't know. Maybe it is Scotty. No, it's the
I saw
Rodman.
the what Rodman, Dennis Rodman. Oh my God, I'm
Okay,
stupid. I can't believe I
Dennis
messed that
Rodman.
up. Of all
Where
the things I might know from the '90s.
yeah, so Dennis wears
No,
a
he's
lot of
crazy. He yeah.
weed product, like crypto weed products. He's like sponsored by them. Um, so
I didn't know you could get sponsored, man. I could struggle.
you know what's crazy is my crypto channel. I've never taken anyone up on it, but I get emailed every single week to be sponsored by coins, and I just won't do it ethically. I just don't want to. Well, it's not just ethically. It's just like I don't know anything about what you're doing. So I do get a lot of sponsors about crypto, but I just none of them's caught my eye. And they all want to pay, but I still don't want to because why I don't want to suggest you should buy this or, you know, whatever. So a lot of cryptos are looking for sponsors. You could probably find one for something
Yeah.
you guys do.
No, come sponsor us, the strangest. Then won't be like crypto. I was worried about naming this because I thought people might think Crypto Smash was like some sort of like promotional thing.
Oh,
So I was like, how do we name it like it's a channel thing? So I almost thought about like the strangest ways to make money. I was telling Rebecca we need like a cleavage shot to try to get some generate clicks. Like we
yeah.
can make money, get the kinkiest going.
Mhm.
But so hold on. Here's a sidetrack question. So when you're making your channel, like what's up with all the pug like branding? How did you come up with
Yeah.
all of that?
Man, the pug thing is just a joke between my friend and I. And we originally had a podcast, and we still do have a podcast that used a lot of the pug branding, and we just think it's hilarious. And that's why there's nothing behind it. I kind of like it because we're talking about something serious like finances. Like maybe you invested into a coin and you lost $5,000, but there's a pug there, so it makes it a little bit nicer. So
No,
there's nothing
I
behind
really
it.
like the pug. Like I put it in the outline. Like it almost makes me just want to send you like anytime I see a meme with a pug in it or just like a cute pug on the internet, it makes
Yeah,
me want to send it to you. So do you own a pug or
I do
is it all
not.
really? You don't even own a pug?
I don't, but I like pugs and they're hilarious. I
No,
just don't own a
I think
pug.
it's hilarious looking at all your stuff and it's like a pug. It's got like the
Dude,
coin on it and everything.
yeah, man, pugs are awesome. I think someday I might get a pug or I might yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like pugs. They're cool. Except the only thing okay, one of the biggest reasons I would not get a pug is because sometimes their eyes fall out. And it's a thing. Like if they get too excited, their eyes can bulge and pop out. So you have to buy really premium pugs. I'm not kidding. So they have to be purebred, high end, probably a couple $1,000s to get a really high end pug so their eyes don't fall out.
That's creepy, man. I never would have thought that was a
Yeah,
problem.
I'm not kidding. That's actually like one of the biggest reasons I'm like, I don't want a pug because I just don't want to deal with that. So it's scary. Yeah.
You got everyone in the chat freaking out. Their eyes fall out. What in the world?
Yeah, it can pop out. It's just part of owning a pug. Actually, one of my boss, my boss had a pug and its eye fell out as well. So it didn't have an eye. Yeah,
So, if you had to get a dog, what kind of dog would you get?
man, I would get a black lab. I really like black labs.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a labradoodle. I like labradoodles as well. So, or a labradoodle and a pug because don't want one of the dogs being lonely. So
Yeah, you don't
yeah,
want to have that anxiety between them to where they like piss on everything, tear
yeah,
everything up.
yeah,
So,
exactly. So
but overall, what are your goals in life, man? You have all this stuff going on. Like, what's your focus? So, what takes up most of your time in your day?
um so okay, so what I'll answer the goal thing at the end. What takes up most of my time is it just varies. I mean, eBay takes a lot of time with uploading. I'm a pastor, so I have to meet with people. I have a lot of meetings, um, and all the time. I go to a pretty big church, so people are always just meeting with me, or even I don't even know, man. Like this week, there was a business owner in my town that wanted to learn about crypto, and he's kind of in my opinion, he was really important. He owns lots of real estate, and so I did a session on cryptocurrency for him, and I just talked through that. So just random stuff, but I guess my goal would be to um just I want to live in a great town, own a home, and just stay there for a long time. That's like my ultimate goal. And in reality, my goal is not to get money. Like I don't even work to make money. It's not that. It's more of just the journey of making money. Um, I don't know how to explain that. I really like learning information and I like researching stuff. And along with that, I just make money doing that as well. So, and a lot of, and that part of my life, the information and wanting to know more, I do that in cryptocurrency. So I read white papers and learn about different companies to invest in, and even some stock. Um, I will read stuff about. But yeah, that's mainly what I do. And yeah,
So, how does that progress you to your ultimate goal of like owning a house somewhere where you can stay?
yeah. Right now in life, I have no bills, nothing. So that's really nice. So I just stock up money so someday I will be able to own a house.
Yeah.
And I I'm not sure if I want to live in this area forever. Probably not. I would love to go back east and live in the Durham or Raleigh area. I really like that area. Or I really would like to live near Duke University or maybe somehow work there. I just like the academic setting. So saving up money so someday I could go over there. So
I mean, after these storms, you might be able to get some property
I
cheap,
know
dude.
that. Well, that's what my wife was saying. She's like, maybe some of the properties will go down because of the storm. So
Hopefully not. That's a crazy area. It's grown so much. That in Charlotte, like North Carolina, is booming pretty
I
hardcore.
know it's crazy. So
So, out of all this, all these crazy journeys, do you have any regrets? Anything you wish you would have done differently?
Um, hmm. As far, I mean, I don't have any major regrets. I mean, obviously there's some trades I wish I would have done. I've lost money in crypto. I mean, I've made a lot of money, but I've had days where I've lost like a couple $1,000s, uh, maybe a few thousand within that week, and it all makes itself back. I mean, that was hard. It's not that hard. I mean, that's one time I've lost like 10 grand, but it eventually comes back and it works itself out. So, but through that, you learn a lot. You learn how to work with money. You learn how to, I mean, that it's really helpful. You don't learn anything if you don't fail. You don't learn stuff when you're winning. So that's one thing. There's some things in eBay I wish I would have done sooner, with shipping and just I wish I would have gotten. I have a table right here. It's this thing, and I wish I would have gotten that sooner because it's a great way to take professional pictures and stuff like that. Besides, I mean, that's really my only regrets. I don't really know if I have any like major regrets. So
What kind of camera do you have like that you take pictures with? Is it just your phone or?
yeah, actually, I just use my phone. Um, I I just use an iPhone with the most storage, and I connect my iPhone to the iCloud for pictures, and it just sends them to my computer, and then I just go from the computer to eBay. So, um, yeah, or Amazon. I mean, I don't ship a lot of stuff on Amazon, but if whenever I go to a thrift store, if I see a VCR or really mainly VCRs, I'll buy them so I can sell them. Because VCRs typically sell for like less than $10 and you can flip them for like 50 um and pretty fast on Amazon. So
Yeah. What kind of microphone do you have?
uh this is
Looks
a
fancy, man.
Audio Technica 2035 or something.
Is that
Yeah.
what you use for all your podcasts?
This I actually don't use that often.
Really?
I
Is this for
use
your YouTube channel you don't upload?
no, I really don't even like this mic. I think it's I don't know. I
It
just
sounds
don't.
good, man. It sounds
Oh, that's
like we're
good.
having a conversation in person.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I really like an the mic I have is an Encore 2 or 300. They're awesome. It's a dynamic mic. This is a cardio mic or whatever, and it picks up everything. The dynamic microphone only picks up what's in front of it. So, and then I use a Focusrite Scarlett Solo, and I use a Logitech uh, webcam.
Yeah, I got a Logitech
So,
webcam. So with all that, like, so how many podcasts are you involved in? Because I know you talked about you have a couple of podcasts or you've done a couple, and I know like the whole Smash thing you've used in a few other
yeah,
projects. So how do you like Smash and other podcasting
yeah,
products, I guess?
that's so funny. We use the Pug a lot. I use the Pug a lot, and then we use the Smash part a lot. But I have a podcast. It's all about preaching, homiletics, stuff like that. So, and I do that with my friend Matt, and we interview pastors around America, specifically ones that we like to hear preach, that are academic, not just whatever your mega pastor, people that are awesome and know how to write a good homily or sermon. So yeah,
So with all this stuff that goes on in your life, you have to have things that creep up into the back of your head, like doubts or any negative thoughts. How do you stay positive with managing all this shit? Like, how do you not let that collapse all on your head with everything that's going on?
uh, I mean, I don't. Yeah, for me, I don't have a lot of risk. Well, I guess I do. Crypto can be risky. I don't know, man. It's not. It's obviously a lot of pressure to keep um, your money safe in the crypto market, but in general, just how you do life is you just have to have a really good environment. For me, okay, so I do a lot of stuff, and I would say the biggest reason I can do all what I do is because the environment I'm in. I'm in a really healthy environment. I have some awesome friends here, and it's just what you do where I'm at. You just stay busy. Everyone around me has multiple jobs. Everyone around me has side hustles. Um, so I have a community around me that is doing the same thing I do, and we work till 9 p.m. some nights, and we stay up to 1 a.m. So it's just the environment I'm in lets me not go crazy. Yeah,
Yeah. I can just only imagine like a bad day of crypto or just like work or anything where it seems
yeah,
like it all like falls upon you and not want to get out of bed.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people struggle with like the stuff like that. I mean, I know I struggle even if I had like a bad day in insurance or slow like sub growth or like a video didn't do as well on top of like other personal stuff. Like you could like feel like everything's closing in on you. It's like everything you're trying to work towards is
yeah,
failing. This is
yeah,
melodramatic days. It just seems like the more projects you have, the more feelings like that you could have, like a domino effect.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, definitely.
or a multiplier when things are going good. You can be like high off of like
Yeah.
everything going great. So,
Exactly. So, yeah.
so are you gonna eventually also with your YouTube channel? I got further in the outline. It says you have like you almost have 100,000 views, which is great.
I know.
So, are you gonna revive it, man? Or are you gonna?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. I know. It's crazy. It is insane to think there are however many people out there that watch those videos. I mean, yeah, I hope to, you know, get back to that channel. I thought about making a different channel and, you know, something that's not about crypto. We'll see. I mean, there are people that watch my videos on my crypto channel. So, yeah, eventually I'll come back to it and
I mean, you
it's
could
pretty
just build and grow off of what you have. I mean, make it more about you or other things you do. I mean,
yeah,
you can make it Michael Smash
I know, right?
or Pop Smash.
Well, I see here my channel, if I make one, I already have it.
Oh,
So
you're
people can't steal it. I already have everything. I mean, another thing I do is I buy websites, which is hilarious. I
yeah.
buy websites and I have tons of websites. So if I ever wanted to sell it to someone for whatever reason, I could. But my channel would be Poffology. My last name is Poff, and it would just be whatever I do. So Poffology, I don't know, just the study of Poff.
Do you
So
own michaelpoff.com?
I do.
I own ethandorton.com.
Yeah, exactly. It's important to own your own website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in an early Gary Vee book. I read that. I didn't even know really who Gary Vee was at the time, but he was talking about the whole branding of yourself. That one day you might want to brand yourself, so you should try to own your name
Yeah.
across all platforms.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I really believe that, but like, okay. Like I was in the business department of my university and I saw this professor. It was yesterday. I had a meeting with some professor. And this professor was Snapchatting or whatever, Instagram living a package being delivered to him. And I just think that's hilarious. It's like, dude, you're old. But no, it is important to brand yourself. So yeah.
I think it's really important. Um, hold on. There's another thing. All right, here's another question, man. So, since you haven't been as active on YouTube, what other platforms are you active on, or what do you think is the most important besides YouTube? Are you active on social media? I know you're active with like podcasts and stuff. Like, where do you promote things the most? Where do you connect with people?
Um, I'm not active on social media that much. Dude, I have some social media accounts that have grown that I've just like ditched. I don't even know why. I just have. But I like Reddit.
I love Reddit. I have like 30 Reddit accounts. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah. And I mean that's super important to read and be active on, especially in my community. And then another one that I'm not necessarily active on with videos. I have one video on there and I've thought about going back to it, but it's called DTube. It's a cryptocurrency YouTube uh, website, and it's all based on cryptocurrency. So instead of um, being paid with US dollar and having all the qualifications that YouTube has, DTube pays you through cryptocurrency and it pays pretty well. And other people can donate to you or whatever. So, the way you get cryptocurrency is typically you mine crypto, and Steam or DTube lets you mine cryptocurrency through making videos and being active on posts and things like that. So, it's a really cool way it's a different way to be involved in social media. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've actually seen. I can't remember the bigger creator. I came across their channel or whatever you call it there,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I didn't know this was actually big enough to warrant like bigger
Yeah.
people
No, a
switching
lot
over
of
to it.
Yeah, dude. A lot of YouTubers have gone over to Steam It and YouTube. I mean, DTube. So, and it's really interesting. Like a lot of article writers, authors, whatever, they are on Steam It blogs. And so some authors who have written for Rolling Stones, they are taking their whatever they wrote in 1995 and 1996, they're putting that on Steemit and getting extra money. I mean, some of their posts get like 10 grand because
Damn.
people really love it and they're like, "Oh, this is awesome." And there's a lot of, we call them whales, rich people who have a lot of money that just want to support crypto. Whales will throw money at people to get them to advertise Steemit and DTube just so they'll be active. I mean, right now, YouTube has no competitor. I mean, there's like Instagram Live and whatever, but really no one, Vimo, but no one watches that. So DTube is really trying to compete with YouTube and Steemit. So
No, whales are important to anything. Like I think Twitch really thrives off of whales,
yeah.
or even YouTube, like streams. People who throw money there.
Mhm.
Um, Everyone in the chat, Mr. Reality's there. That's who we're gonna have on next week. So you guys get excited. And then we have White Owl still and Andy Botman. Thank you guys for watching and talking, contributing. Um, so man, have you ever had? All right, this is one we ask everyone, and usually it's top of the list because there are other paranormal channels. Have you ever had a paranormal experience out of all this stuff?
Yeah. Just in general, I have had a paranormal experience. I've had a few, not many recently, but the biggest one that stands out in my mind was, well, I have two. In high school, uh, I remember it was Halloween night, and my friend lives in the middle of nowhere and just woods. And there's a like story that there's a witch that lives in the woods and she just lives there and lots of creepy stuff happens. So I remember one night we went to go in the woods just to be there and to tell the story of the witch. It was my senior year, and I remember just we were there, and then some animals came out of the woods and were going nutso. It was the dogs. They started chasing us. But get this, we made it back. I mean, we're in pitch black in the
Yeah,
woods in the middle of
yeah.
nowhere. We get back to the car, and all of us hear a little girl um say to us like, "Save me," and or like, "Go away." And that was crazy. And like that was one of the things where I was like, "Oh my goodness." And where I'm at, where I grew up in, there's like all these weird Indian graves and just weirdo stuff like that. And people always say, "Oh, it was like it's an Indian whatever graveyard or whatever you want to say." So that was one. But another big one was shadow people, crazy stuff, man. I remember I came home from a soccer game. My parents were like late to something, and I remember just feeling creeped out all night. My parents got home like at 11. I went to bed, and around 2 a.m. I woke up, and like I remember seeing a shadow figure that looked like a human on my wall. It's pitch black. I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. So that creeped me out. And then it went into my mom's room. So it went out my door entrance over to my parents' room. And well, my it was in my mom's room. And she was uh there that night. She got really, really sick and all like had to be taken to the hospital. And like she wasn't sick or anything that night. She just that next morning she woke up really sick, and that always scared me. So I had that experience with shadow people, and that's always creeped me out. So and that's something I can't explain. Like I don't know.
So how
So
do you relate that back to your profession, like religion? Do you think demons
yeah.
are a thing, or
Um,
do you think it's an interdimensional thing, or aliens?
um I yeah, I'm torn on this because in my opinion, uh evil, and you could call it the devil or the Satan, it sells a lot better than anything that you could say about goodness or light. So, and I know that as a religion person, like evil stuff just is more interesting. But I would say there are a lot of things in life that you can't explain. Um, and I would never say that. I'm not sure that's necessarily demons or whatever you want to say, but it's definitely paranormal stuff. Um, And being in a religious context, you always have laymen who, you know, believe it, something happened in their life or their house is possessed or whatever. So yeah. Oh man, I remember. I want to tell a story of where we went to school.
Yeah, that's fine, man. Tell the
Okay,
story.
I remember being in like second or third grade, and there's this old man who's just crazy, and he would do chapel services. He was nutso. He was like the leader of the school, and this story has always creeped me out. One day, it was like a duo that day or something. They were both preaching or whatever you want to say. They told this story about how this kid had played like an evil record. I don't even know, like Metallica, whatever they call evil. And they believed that this kid was possessed and his house was possessed or something. And so this old man was saying that there was demon eyes in the closet, and he was very graphic with the demon red eyes being in this kid's closet, and how him and this other pastor had to go pray out the evil that was haunting their house. And that has always stuck with me. I'm like, why would you tell second graders that stuff? Like, man, scary. So,
I actually heard a guy, I don't know, he's 6 years younger, six grades below me, who had a kid in his grade that supposedly got demon possessed, and they gave and missed like half the year, and they gave him a free pass to where he got to go on to the next grade and everything. So he missed like 3 months of class because he was demon possessed, and they had all these crazy stories about him, and that happened at Westover. So
I mean, yeah, it's so weird. There are some kids in my group that people probably think are demon possessed. I mean, I understand, like they're like crazy kids. Like they're bad. Not, I mean, like genuinely bad. Like they would do. We had a girl like bring in knives and weird stuff. But like yeah, that's like pretty crazy, but environments where you grow up in at home can really make that. But yeah, a lot of weird stuff happens at churches. And I'm at a really old church, so it's extra creepy at night. So yeah.
yeah, Carrie said, "I wish I had thought of that when she was in school." Yeah, we went to create like a really Southern Baptist school where it
Oh,
was us, Father Michael, Sagi Seal, and there was Cameron, the vaping trucker in that
that's
one video, and he also in the Pauling Picard, the guy walking in the woods. Cameron, we all went to high school together. So, but hold on, let me see what else. So with all this, what's the craziest thing like you're like that you could talk to? What's something the craziest thing someone's ever told you that you've just been like, what in the world? Like either a story about their life that they've opened up, or just even like a stranger at Walmart or the mall that's passed you. Like, what's the strangest interaction you've had with someone else?
um what's crazy is the most creepy stuff happens to me in the South. I don't know. Like I think people are just there's just a lot more history there, and a lot more wise tales and stuff like that. Um I mean, yeah, but as far as like like one of the craziest stories was one of the people I work with told me that her daughter was demon possessed. And I mean, her daughter is one of my best friends. Um so basically her daughter went like crazy and went to a bunch of raves up in Chicago for like a year, and she got all strung out on drugs and just never wanted to do anything in life. And um, make a long story short, she would uh, when she eventually came back home when she was like 18, 17 or 18, she would sit and just stare at the wall all day and like chant weird stuff. And so my boss said one day that she eventually had to cast out a demon. And I'm like,
How do you just
okay,
casually like? So I just came home, got everything ready. I YouTubed a couple videos, and then I just cast out a demon. It was like
yeah,
every other
like
day.
so take that, whatever. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Was it
but also,
successful? Did they say it
I
was
mean, I
successful?
guess like, and I asked the daughter about it, and she goes, "My mom's just crazy, whatever." But I mean, what? I don't know. I mean, I know for a fact her the lady was crazy. I mean, she's just whatever. She's awesome. I mean, I love her now. She's awesome. So also, I mean, there's some exorcism classes at certain Catholic schools that are interesting. That's not creepy, but like I know up in Chicago, you can take a class on exorcism, and you have to be pretty high leveled in theology to get into them. They're like level 600 or 700 courses, and sometimes they have unadvertised priests to come in to teach exorcism uh, at different Chicago Catholic schools. So yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in the chat. Thanks. So you guys, how many of you guys are Catholic? I was raised Methodist, but I went to a Catholic elementary school. Then I went to a Episcopal school for 1 year before going to a Baptist like middle school and high school where I graduated before going to Baptist college for a year before transferring to state school. So I've had a lot of mix of religions and philosophies. So
I didn't know you went to a Baptist college for a
yeah,
year.
I went to Campbell for a year. So I
Oh,
actually was even a religion major for a semester before I switched it to business.
no
I was
way.
I was always interested in business, film, and religion. I almost went to VCU for business and film school, but I had a lot of friends that were like really screwing up at VCU.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to waste college. I want to make the best of it. So I went to Campbell because I really bought into the whole like small private school thing that Westover would sell, like saying you want to go to a small Baptist school, you'll transition well. And Campbell's like in the middle of nowhere, and it was like terrible. It was the worst experience. It was just really boring. Like everyone there was super nice, but after that, when I went to JMU, like 20,000 people, it was the
Okay.
best thing.
I have a story, dude.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Maybe you have someone in the chat who's saying something. Sorry.
no, you're fine.
Okay. When I was in college, I was a part of ministries, and we had this thing, a prayer night, and I was never into like doing any like speaking in tongues or anything weird like that, not any of that. But there was a guy who could who was convinced he could prophesy over people and convinced he could tell the future. Okay, to just shorten the story, the dude went crazy, and I promise you, I heard him do it. Do
Yeah,
this.
yeah. What did he
I was
do?
at dinner with him, just whatever. He stands up in the middle of the cafeteria. There's like 1,000 people. He goes up to two random girls and then says, "You fell out of your bed last night, didn't you?" And starts telling her what she did last night. He goes, "It's because you broke up with your boyfriend, and your boyfriend's name is this." And yeah, whatever. And she goes, "You're gonna fall." He said, "You're gonna be pushed out of your bed again tonight." So apparently, people believe. I don't really know about. I don't really know, but he was demon possessed, and he was telling people's futures, and it was the craziest thing in the world. I promise. I don't. I typically that's the creepiest thing I've ever experienced. Was this guy would hear voices in his head, and I swear they would come true. And it was the weirdest stuff. And he would go up to people and never know them, never talk to them, and would just start saying stuff to them about what's going to happen that would be bad, and just know their name and stuff. That's probably the craziest thing I've ever experienced. That I have actually experienced and talked to, and that is legitimately I have no explanation for. So yeah.
No,
He's not into God or religion anymore. He doesn't do anything.
no, that's super creepy. White Owl just said, I think it's really important. She said, like, I think young people should be taught in a science environment, not a religious environment. And I
Mm.
think that's important too, because like when you're young, your mind's like really like you can almost believe anything.
Yeah.
And I think like religion's something you should like learn and discover for yourself. Like I'm like
Mhm.
literally the happiest I've ever been since I've started like thinking of religion back when I was like a kid, and so like what I was taught from other people. And I think like self discovery is a really important thing. And so people being taught. And Like I know people freak out about around here. People are freaking out about like coaches, like public school coaches, like praying and stuff like that. I'm like, well, that seems good, but what if it was a Muslim guy? You guys would be like about to burn that guy at a stake. Like, you
No.
can't have it both ways. You gotta keep it separate.
Yeah.
So
It is, I agree. It really is important. An academic setting, science is crucial to the development of the brain. Religion is, uh, it's a concept that is easy to brainwash. So,
I think maybe if you taught it from a historical perspective, maybe taught them all like in a brief, like, because if you like history, like religion and stuff, like the history behind all the different religions is crazy. Like, it's really interesting how it's come about and how just the fact that so many things are still relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago.
yeah, it really is. Um, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I could say some things like when you are religion based and you have true science facts come against you, you for some reason, a lot of religious people will just always disagree with the science facts, and that's just crazy. And that can just not be healthy. So, my wife's my wife's dad, my father-in-law, is a doctor, and he grew up in a conservative environment where religion was very important. And when he went to medical school, I mean, that was really hard for him in the 80s to learn, about evolution and have to accept the reality that, you know, this is what science is and this is why it's important and whatever you guys know what I'm saying. So it can be really hard for someone who uh, doesn't want to accept that, and it creates a great divide in religion. So yeah.
So, well, how does like what? How does your wife deal with all the stuff like religion, your business? It just seems like so hard. I would like to meet her, man. It just seems interesting, just like all the stuff you have going on. Like you live a crazy life.
Yeah, I mean, as far as how does my wife deal with it? Okay, so for me, I guess religion wise, when I am in a very academic environment when it comes to religion. I have very critical, I have a lot of critical thoughts on religion, and that trickles down to my wife. So we are way more open to ways of thinking about stuff, and it was hard for her at first, especially if you don't, you know, she didn't major in that, and that took some time. But we're on the same level. What I'm trying to say is, when you go from a conservative environment, like my wife did, and even me, it just naturally takes a long time to accept the reality of spirituality. Like spirituality is a complex subject in itself, but it's important to be on the same page. It is important, but it's also, even if you're not on the same page, I think that's fine. Um, Spirituality is complex enough to where everyone has their own journey. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting, and I didn't really give that much of a background. Like before we like met and had lunch, all right, we started talking because of like the YouTube channel and YouTube in general. Me and you met for lunch in July. Talked about a whole bunch of stuff really similar to this. I wish we would have recorded that because that was a good talk. It would have been really good. I'm glad you guys are listening to this now. But it always interests me, just like growing up, like so many different religious backgrounds, people's thoughts and everything. And if you think of it from a really like negative background, I'm like, oh man, Michael's like a youth pastor. He's gonna be crazy. He's gonna think all these different things, especially if you think of like the high school we went to. That's what I was picturing. But you're so chill and have such good ideas and beliefs, man. It's really interesting just hearing everything. So I was wondering, like, it'd be really interesting just to meet your wife to see how she is. So,
Yeah.
because it's unique. Because you're so unique for this area.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially for the South. I mean, dude.
Yeah, we live in the Bible. I live in the Bible Belt. You came from the Bible Belt.
Yeah, exactly. And that most places are still, even where I'm at, most churches are very conservative still. Um, and what's crazy is I was probably still very conservative after my undergrad, I've been in 2 master programs. So I was in a master's of religion program, and now I'm in a master's of theology program. And I just do that for fun. I realize I'm never going to use that. I don't want to be a professor. I just do it. So what I'm trying to say is it takes a long time to get to that mindset, and it's definitely unique. And um, I think a reason I can keep continuing on the free thinking of spirituality and being so open to stuff is I have a friend who is the same way. So we kind of build it off each other. And that's where my other podcast comes in. We talk about, you know, that type of stuff, just higher thoughts on religion that isn't so close minded. So yeah, it is interesting.
Nah, I really like it just because of how much of my life has been influenced by it. But at the same time, I feel like I've come full circle with like taking it easy, kind of like learning like stuff for myself and not going hardcore. Like I can't, like, I don't go to church just because I become super judgmental and freak out over stuff because when you get in that mindset of like what people do or don't do, really hate the idea of like picking and choosing your own religion, but like because that makes yourself seem like you're creating your own God. But that's basically where I'm at. It's like get to pick and choose, find out stuff for your, like yourself, discover yourself, not be told, not that feel good stuff that you just hear.
Yeah, I don't know how deep you want to go into this or if your people will be mad, or I know everyone has different beliefs on religion, but it really, it is to a certain extent, it is a fluid, the concept of God is kind of a fluid idea. It takes time to grow in. In the most important part of being spiritual is loving other people. And I think if a religion or spirituality has that component, I'm good with it. And I that's all it needs for me. I mean, that's my opinion. Like I'm a part of a church. Um, I'm probably a heretic for saying this, but like I'm open to stuff and I'm okay with that. And I don't judge other people, or I completely understand why people feel that way. Like it's all, they have the right to feel that way. I mean, the church is crazy and it's hurtful, and you know, that's just how the church is. So, but there are
Yeah,
people in the church and communities in the church that are not like that sometimes. But for the most part, it can be a hurtful place, and I understand why people are that way.
yeah,
So,
here. I'm gonna do a quick plug on if you guys don't believe in religion or anything at all, don't want to do anything with the church, check out civic organizations that don't have anything to do with the church. Because I mean, there's still other ways you can be involved. Like one of the good things about churches, if you want to look at it a positive way, is the stuff that they do for society. And you have to think about the ways that you like fall back on, like we mentioned, I guess like what like universal like income and like the things the government should do for you. Like the thing churches help communities by having ways for people to fall back onto. But there's also civic organizations where you don't have that and you can be involved. Like I'm part of the Optimist Club in Danville, and we do a whole lot for the youth in our area. So, and that's not religious. So you can still be involved because I mean the good thing about churches is it still brings community. If it's a church like in the right way, there can also be a lot of negative stuff that comes with it. So I don't know. It's a fine line. You gotta use your own discretion, you guys. You gotta be smart. So
exactly.
don't just drink the Kool-Aid for anybody. So
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
do you have any closing thoughts, any messages for young people, anything you've learned in your life so far? Like either about finances, like church, religion, anything as a person that you've grown into. It's like what's something you would tell your kids if you had some?
Man, I don't know if I would tell my kids this. I mean, maybe someday I would. I think in general, one of the most important things you can do is find out who you are, your own personality. Whether that be just find out what you're like. And I think that takes a lot of growing into. And what I mean by that is, uh, so for me, I really relate to this concept of something called the Enneagram. I know this might be weird, but on the Enneagram, I'm an introverted number 5. So I'm a 5. I'm someone who collects information. I know that I'm not going to be some president of the world or whatever, I just like collecting information and acting on stuff and researching stuff. That's just who I am. And so the sooner you can find out who you are and what you like, I think the sooner you will find happiness and, whatever you enjoy in life. And that's easier said than done, especially I think in our generation, to finding that. So whatever it takes. I mean, I use the Enneagram. I know some people use whatever personality thing. At least that's what I found most helpful, is finding something that best describes how I am, how I'm built, how my mind thinks, and dissecting how I grew up and going from there. I don't know if hopefully that makes sense. Yeah.
It definitely helps to like understand yourself, learn, do self-reflection. I mean, because it's really easy to get trapped in your own thoughts or thinking different things. So
Yeah. Well, I want to say this as well. Becoming confident in yourself and becoming confident in whoever you are. And I know some people don't want to do this, but going to counseling or getting other friends in your life to tell you what you can improve on, not being afraid to improve, I mean, will get you very far. Unless you don't have any aspirations, and that's okay too. I mean, I've been in points in life where I just have no aspiration, and I think that's fine, like whatever. So, but in long term, finding out who you are, improving, doing what is best for you and others around you is going to get you far.
I think it's important, like self-reflection, like growing. I mean, even though like also when you look at other things, I read a lot, watch a lot on the internet this week about like people's internet lives and everything, like through Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. And you shouldn't judge yourself by other people's, like what you see online. I mean, a lot of people, you judge yourself by your thoughts, whereas other people, you judge them by their actions. So I mean, you should just focus on growing yourself and not on other people. Put on blinders. I mean, it's really easy to get lost in everything. Even in this, like us, like talking about things, like I'm not perfect. All the stuff I say next week might contradict this. So thank you guys for staying and watching this. I'm glad everyone's hung through this, like strangest ways to make money into the strangest ways of living life. But I think it's important. Like I've said this before, like in your 20s, I think that you should be a lot more selfish in like learning yourself and growing as a person. Because usually if you think about your family, most of the time is they're off doing their own thing. Usually they're in their own it's just your own time to grow as a person before you have kids of your own and have to start the cycle over again. So you got to learn everything for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm sorry you guys for keeping you so long. Man, you've been awesome. Thank you for joining us for all of this.
Oh man, thank you.
Where's the best way to follow you? So are you going to put out new videos, or where should people stay up to date with you?
Follow me on YouTube. That's the best way to keep up with me. I'll be making YouTube or, I mean, I really don't use social media that much. I mean, I never post on Facebook. Here's the thing. I have a big Instagram account and I never use it. I don't know why. So I don't use anything, just really YouTube or Twitter. So yeah.
I appreciate it. So next week we're going to have Mr. Reality. It's going to be fun. Haven't made an outline for that, so don't know exactly where it's going to go. I'd like to think maybe do with some Australian stuff because that'd be cool. If not, I want to know if Outback is really authentic Australian food. But anything else, man, I really appreciate anyone who's in the storm path of Florence or the other hurricanes. Hope you guys stay safe. Don't take storms lightly. I mean, it's really important. There's other hurricanes coming. I was working on a video with Soggy Seal about storm preparation or natural disasters, so maybe that'll come out eventually. If not, it'll be our regular schedule. But I appreciate everyone here, and we'll have another stream next week, so get excited. So thank you, Michael. Anything final?
I don't have anything else to say, but thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Definitely get excited. Thank you, guys. And until next time, you guys stay strange.